Today, I want to share with you the concept of inner child. A few things I'm going to cover in this video. First of all, what does inner child really means? Why is it important to connect with her or with him? And how to connect with her or with him. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Hannah. I'm an intuitive chakra coach, energy healer, and somatic guide. So first of all, I want to share with you that with the inner child work that I've been doing in the past, I was doing a lot of meditation, a lot of ways of connecting with my inner child through different activities, like playful activities, or having the intention being with her in the back of my head and connecting with her. But I never actually had that like relationship with her. And this is what I want to explain to you exactly in this video, what exactly I mean by that, and the power that the effect that it gave me to my journey. I'm going to give you some like real life example from my own journey. What is inner child? So we all have our inner child. Our inner child usually lives between our sacral chakra to our solar plexus. So it's like in the center of the stomach. And we all have parts of ourselves that are our inner child. So for example, whenever we have our inner child is traumatized or wounded or maybe even joyful or whatever the situation may be, a lot of times us as who we are today, we can operate from that place. So I'll give you an example. My mom used to criticize me a lot when I was growing up, and the way I was responding to her always was like rebelling. Like, you're gonna criticize me, I'm gonna rebel, I'm gonna do exactly the opposite of what you're telling me. So today, even today, when my partner is like telling me something, or when people are criticizing me, this part is coming online, like this rebellious part of me is coming online, and that's like the response that is coming from that place, if that makes sense. I'll give you another example. Let's say every time we were expressing our emotions growing up, it wasn't received in a good way. Like, let's say we were being yelled at or maybe even hit. So to even today, experiencing those, like whenever we have like an emotion that is coming through, we could this part of ourselves can just like kind of shut us down for protection. This part of ourselves is gonna say, no, you can't feel this, because if you feel this, it's gonna be bad. You're gonna have, this is a consequence that's gonna happen if you're going to feel this emotion. It's not good to feel this emotion. Remember how when we were kids, you tried to feel the anger, for example, and you got hit, by your father or whatever. I'm just throwing examples. So this is also another idea. And again, there could be endless millions and thousands of ideas of what it means. In other words, when we talk about inner child, our inner child, there are a lot of parts of us that are very young, that are almost like childlike state. And when we operate sometimes, or when we respond or react to specific situations, it's a lot of times coming from that place, from that inner child place. Why is it important to connect with our inner child? There are a lot of situations in life when we feel scared, right? So when we feel, it could be so many things, like fear of abandonment, fear of rejection, if we are afraid to express our needs, if we are afraid to do something, or maybe we're afraid of the dark, maybe we're afraid of bugs, maybe we are feeling guilty about something, maybe we're feeling shame about something, right? The thing is, as an adult, we're still experience that experience, but it's an experience that actually started when we were very, very young. So the reason why it is so important to connect with our inner child is to making her feel safe, making her feel seen, making her feel loved, making her feel heard, right? Maybe some things that she couldn't experience, she couldn't feel when she was little. She didn't feel heard, seen, loved, and seen. So it's our responsibility to connect with our little girl, our little boy, and give them and provide for them and reparent them in the way that we needed at that time. And that's the power of inner child work. And I know a lot of people say like, no, I needed it from other people. I needed it from my parents. I needed it from people around me. No one gave it to me. I don't need it from me. I need it from other people. Yes, I totally understand that. And at the same time, you as who you are today, you have the power to do the inner child work in a way that your inner child feels seen, safe, heard, loved, things that she or he needed to feel at that time. And that can cause like getting out of this place of stagnation, or getting out of this place of fear or frozenness, or whatever the situation may be. So I'll give you an example from my life, in my own experience. Okay, so I've done a lot of inner child work with the first coach that I had. We did a lot of somatic work, like going into the body, and then there was a memory that was coming up, and in this memory, in this process, I would go back as who I am today and give my little girl what she needed at that time, or giving her the superpower to do or say whatever she wanted to do or say at the time. So, and it was really, really powerful. And there's so many layers to these things. And recently, something shifted within my relationship with her. So there was a lot of places where I could see her and I could like be with her, and I was reframing the memories and things like that. But it was almost like there wasn't the we space with her. Like I felt like she was separate from me. And then recently I had this huge process where I realized that this entire way that I've been showing up for my healing journey, it's been really intense in the past 5 years. And the way that I was doing this work was kind of like really, really intense, and go deeper and go into the extreme of the rage, or going into the extreme of the shame, and just kind of like very opposite of nurturing way. And it was like, oh yeah, if I want to evolve, if I want to grow, if I want to be a better person, I have to do everything, like it was this like mentality of like go extreme and trigger, and like, just like a very triggering and like shaking the building type of way. And it was great. I have to say, like, it really got me to amazing places, and I was able to really have like, receive a lot of growth from it, and knowledge, because I was so like thirsty for this growth, right? But then recently I had this huge process where I was connecting with her, and I realized, it's funny because the way we started this process is I played with her, and it was fun and playful. She was about 5 years old, and we played together. And then I was like, oh, I want to show you my meditation place. My meditation place is somewhere beyond space that I usually go to. And I went into that place with her, and we were just, there. And all of a sudden, I felt like a really like intensity from there was someone else in the room that was going through something, and I felt that intensity. And it was just a mirror for me, because that moment, it was when I realized like, oh yeah, I did this to her. I've been doing the same exact thing to her. And the moment that I could feel that intensity, I could feel her like really, really getting scared, like super, super scared. And she started to get frozen. Like my ultimate trauma response is frozen. And she started to get frozen. She's like, I want to go home. I don't feel safe here. I want to go home. I want to go home. So from my safe space, the most safe space that you can find on in this entire universe, my meditation place, she didn't feel safe there. And she's like, I want to go home. I want to go to my parents' house where I grew up. And I was like, okay, I had to take her to the other room. I went to the other room, and I really kind of checked in. Like, she wanted to go into this, those like closets that you put all your winter clothes in there. So she wanted to go in there. We had one thing like that at my parents' house, and it was that was her safe space. There was a lot of bags of clothing there. So she wanted to go inside, and she didn't want me to come with her. She wanted me to stay outside. And I was just kind of staying outside, and I could sense her. I could feel her. Like, she was like literally turning to gray into white, like talking about frozen, right? She was just like literally starting to get really frozen. I've never seen her so frozen like this in my life ever before. And I started seeing, I was like kind of getting panicky a little bit. I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? I need to fix this. Like she's really doing bad. I hope I can like thaw her from that. I was kind of getting panicky about it a little bit. And then she was just inside the closet and I was outside, and I started like understanding. I had this like realization that I didn't really see her. I didn't really feel her. I was doing a lot of things that were not okay with her. Whether if it's like going into a specific process, or going into like heal a specific, even on my journey, like heal a specific wound that was a little bit too much for her at the time. Maybe it was something that was more like a spiritual level, like that, some things that I was accessing, maybe some spirits or some beings that I was, things that I was doing that my higher self was okay with. She was like, yes, go for it. But my little girl was fucking afraid. She was terrified. She was not ready for a lot of the things that I was doing. And I was kind of I was keeping pushing through, even though she was scared. And so it just made me realize, while I was sitting outside of the closet and I was just like feeling her, and I started to feel so much shame. I've never felt so much shame in my life. And I started to cry and grief. And I told her, I'm so sorry. You don't deserve it. You don't deserve that I'm gonna treat you this way. I need to check in with you. I promise I'm gonna check in with you every single time that I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna check in with you to see if that you're okay with it. I promise. You don't deserve it. And I just went into like the grief and the shame, and like really felt her, like her fear and her not feeling safe with things that I was doing, that it's things that you would think it's for my highest good. It's things that are going to help me with my evolution, but she was not feeling safe with it. A lot of things that my higher self was like, yes, go for it, it's okay, like gave me like a green light. My little girl was not. There was a split that was happening. My little girl was split from my higher self and from who I am today. So it was just like never in alignment. And she, like, I never checked in with her just to see how are you doing. And even if it's like posting a video on social media, on YouTube, right? Like checking in. Are you okay with me doing this? Do you feel safe? Like I'm going to share that. There was a YouTube video that I shared about the root chakra. And what I've realized is that in this specific situation, and I'm glad that it happened, because this was part of my big realization of understanding. Like sharing that YouTube video was completely 100% in alignment with me and my higher self. And I got actually the message and the guidance from my ancestors and everybody to I had the support to, yeah, go for it, do it. And it was the right thing to do, but I didn't check with her. And she was a little bit like afraid of me sharing that video. I would share it at some point whenever she feels ready, but it's not the point, because actually my entire process around this video, it's not actually putting that content out. It led me to understand what it means that my little girl feels safe. And she, in this situation, she's okay that I'm sharing it. She wasn't like, I want you to take it off or anything like that. But that entire situation made me realize that, oh yeah, like I need to check in with her even before I put something online, that's how small it goes. And I was just like sitting outside of the closet, and I was like apologizing, and I was like, what do you want? Is there anything you want? I want to help you. And then she wanted to hear like piano music, and she wanted a specific crystal. So I brought these things, and I came and I sat with her, and I had this like princess crown, like with silver and like red stone in the center, and like magic wand with like heart, like a pink heart, and like fuzzy pink and like silver types things. I had it, and I could see, I gave it to her, and I told her, from now on, you're going to be my first priority, no matter what. Before anyone and anything, I'm always going to check in with you. I promise you. And I did a pinky promise with her that if I ever forget, that she's going to remind you, she's going to let me know. If you need to kick my stomach, kick my stomach. But I think the entire, like, the idea here is that I have her very, 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 very much in my awareness now. And I am connecting with her every single morning. Every single morning, I'm connecting with her. Now we're in a better place. Like, we're playing. She's very playful. She's very wild. I guess I'm sharing this because the main thing I want to like share here is that there was a lot of things that I did that were for, I'm not even talking about the things that I've done in the past that really harmed her, whether if it's like, you know, saying no to specific situations, or maybe when someone disrespected me or stepped on my boundaries. I'm not even talking about those. Those are pretty obvious, right? I'm not talking about those things. I'm talking about like things that I thought that they're, I mean, things that are going to make me grow and going to make me a better person, that going to align me with my higher self, that's going to get me closer to my higher self, like get me closer to embody my higher self and being in alignment, you know, with my true self and who I am for real in this life. And I'm talking these types of things where there was things that I was doing that she didn't feel safe with. So I realized that the way that I haven't connected with my little one, it's the way that I was actually guiding my clients for a long time to do this and to spend time with them and to have a relationship with them, not just to go there and give them love or reframe the memory for them, but actually like have a relationship with them. Like, how do you feel? What do you need from me? How can you feel safe with me? What do you want to do? Let's just hang out. Let's just do, what do you want to show? Do you want to show me something? You know, in the beginning, she was showing me her, all of her, you know, stickers and all of the things. And it's like this quality time that I was spending time with her. And that's like also what I'm doing with in a process with clients, that I'm leading them to their little ones, to their inner child, is to, first of all, asking how do you feel. And of course it can go tons of million directions with every single person, because it can be very different in every situation. But usually it's like we're starting by developing a relationship with that little one. And it's not necessarily, I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna fix your experience, because sometimes they don't really need any experience to be fixed. They just want to be seen. They just want to be heard. They want to be accepted. They want to be loved. And by us like being with them and spending time with them, even if it's like going to the amusement park or playing catch or whatever the situation may be, or swing together in the swing, or, you know, just going to the zoo together, whatever that may be, or buying a popsicle. I've done this many times with my little girl. So I guess like what I'm saying is, there's not like this place of like, oh, you had a really terrible experience, let me come and fix it for you, and I'm going to change it for you. Which there's something powerful in that too, that you can reframe memories, you can reframe the situation. But sometimes, I mean most of the times, like first of all, I should say, first of all, the most important thing is to actually be with them and feel with them. So I had like one client, for example, that, you know, we met her little girl and she saw her like feeling alone and really afraid and sad. And she said, I love you so much. I want you to feel good. Like, I want you to feel good. I'm sending you all the love in the world. I'm sending you, you know, everything. You don't deserve to feel this way. And it was beautiful to see, but her little girl didn't change. Like, nothing really happened, because her little girl wanted to be seen. She wanted to express herself and her to accept her this way, to be with her. She wanted someone to be with. She didn't want someone to tell her, hey, you're such a sweet girl, you don't deserve to be sad, you deserve to be happy. And we also have to kind of, if you're a mom and you have kids, or a dad and you have kids, this is where you can also kind of like take it to your kids at home. When you have a kid that's crying, or that they're expressing an emotion, anger, sadness, whatever that may be, like telling them, stop crying, you're such a good boy, you don't deserve to cry, or, you know, or like, oh, he take a popsicle, or like, oh, let me give you a hug. I mean, yeah, let me give you a hug, that's fine. But at the same time, how can you hold space for them to go through that emotion that they need to go through? The way I like to talk about emotions, there's not such thing negative emotions or positive emotions in my world. Any emotion is just an emotion. And if it's shame or rage or joy and laughter, or laughter is not an emotion, but happiness, it's just emotions. And as humans, we came here to this world to experience the entire spectrum of the human experience, which involves all of the emotions, right? And for us to shift what we're seeing in the world and to shift the next generations after that, we have to learn how to be with those emotions. And if we can't be with our own emotions, with our own little girl when she's afraid, how are we going to be able to be with our kids' emotion or other people's emotions? So there's something really, really powerful about being able to really be with your inner child, because then you're going to be able to be with your kids. I mean, first of all, you're going to be able to be with yourself. And it's like the world that we're living, the society that we're living, emotions, I mean, it's becoming more and more and more like open now. Like, people are going to workshops and people are expressing emotions, and there's plant medicine, and like there's more awareness to it. There people are tapping more and more into like feeling their emotions or whatever emotion it is. But there's still a lot of people that are so used to like look at it, in a way that's like negative, like, oh, this is negative emotion and this is positive emotion, or like, I don't want to feel the rage because it's negative and it's bad. There's no such thing as bad or good. I mean, yeah, some of them feel good and some of them don't feel good. Some of them feel a little more dense and some of them feel a little more light, but there's no such thing as bad or good emotions, right? It can make you feel a certain way, of course, like feeling pain, it's unpleasant, it's painful, it's unpleasant. But if we are not gonna let ourselves feel the pain or the grief or the anger that we have in our bodies, it's just gonna stay stuck in our bodies, and then it can manifest in all kinds of different ways: emotional, mental, physical. First step for us to be able to be with others' emotions is to be with our own. And a really, really good way to do it is through inner child work. And when we do inner child work, it's not just trying to fix it for a little girl or a little boy, but actually being with them and giving them the space to feel whatever they need to feel. It doesn't matter what they need to feel. And I actually created an inner child meditation. So if you wanna go a little bit deeper into this thing, watch the link above and you can find this meditation. And if you feel called to try to do this work one-on-one with me, I do online work with people, and I do in person if you're in Austin, Texas. And find the links in the description below. And I also have a free chakra guide, so you can find that in the description below. And other than this meditation that I just shared with you for inner child meditation, first of all, you can find a lot of meditations online, but you can also, literally what I do nowadays is just I close my eyes and I just like imagine her and I imagine where she's at. You can really even call her forward, and that's part of what I do in the meditations, because the meditation that I just shared earlier, you're gonna find it in the description below too. It's not just a regular meditation, it's also like a whole process, like an energy healing type of process. So the energy healing, what it does, what it does in my world, the way I work with energy healing is kind of bringing things to the front row. It brings things to the surface. So doing inner child work with my clients and myself, but I can speak from doing this work with my clients has been super helpful. Like sometimes I'll see in a session, like there's a huge like a blockage or like a really unpleasant sensation, let's say in their stomach or in their heart, in the chest area. And when we were able to go into their inner child and start to develop that relationship and going into that process, then going back to the pain, the energetic or physical pain that was there before, it was way lighter. Sometimes it was even gone completely. And sometimes it just needs a little bit more time to move through and process. Maybe there's a sometimes it'll tell my clients like, I need you to, you know, take 5 minutes for yourself every day for the next 2 weeks, and that's how I'm going to be able to transmute back into light, because we're all about the transmutation rather than removing things. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments any thoughts you have or any insights that you have for me. I would love to hear where you at with this, and what did you notice with your inner child, like what processes you had before when you did that, and what realizations you had. I would love to know. So feel free to share in the comments below, and make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. And if you like this video and you found it helpful, I really appreciate your time, and I hope you have an amazing day.